Welcome in, everyone, and a very happy Wednesday. There we go. I am Taylor Gattoni for News 10 Plus, joined by Nicole Buchmann with Studio 10.
Yes.
Happy Wednesday to you.
Happy Wednesday. Always fun to be here on TV. Son of a biscuit.
We're working on it.
You literally just said it.
News 10 Plus.
News 10 Plus.
Yeah.
News 10 Plus. Every time. But fun facts, you learn something new every single day. CTV is what we call it here. But the cool kids call it News 10 Plus.
There we go.
Call it News 10 Plus.
That's so
Anyway,
funny.
my
How's it
brain
going?
needs to be screwed on correctly because it is a Wednesday, but it's a great Wednesday. Always fun here on Studio 10.
Yeah.
Fun fact, it is also Claudia's birthday.
It is. Very big
Claudia,
happy
so
birthday.
Yes. So today on Studio 10, she's going to be going live at some of the splash pads that we have in our area. I know last week we got all those 90-degree weathers and we're like, we need to cool down. And
It's too hot.
Yeah. And now there are many places that are open, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. So that way it's like less catch up where, we're like, it's hot, where do I go? Now we're like, okay, now let us cool down a little bit. We're going to show you those places so next time it gets like high 80s, 90s, you know where to go.
Then you can rush out there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it'll be fun. It's over at Hawk Island. Which have you ever been there before?
I've been to Hawk Island once. Where did I go the other day? I'm trying to get out to all the different parks so I don't just keep going back to the same place.
Yeah. Yep. So it's very good, super fun for the kiddos and everything.
a lot going on.
Yes, and also later in June, we have the Relay for Life happening over in Holt. So we are bringing on Katie Jones, and we're the media sponsor for Relay for Life, which is like quite the honor because, I mean, for those that aren't familiar, for 35 years, they have been. It's like a peer fundraiser, of course, to battle cancer, and make sure that like the money is going towards research and helping those that are in that battle, and also honoring those that might have lost that battle. So it's a beautiful organization. So we're so lucky to be a part of it. And so we're going to talk with Katie about how the community can get involved. So whether, you've been, someone in your life or, maybe your friend or someone else, just like there's ways to support financially with your time, walking,
just showing up and being there. If you ever spoke to any of the survivors, their stories of empowering and overcoming and, realizing how they meet other people during their whole experience. And they're able to relate and empathize with those who have lost their lives because they know the fight through that. It's empowering.
Very, very empowering. So that will be today of course, at 3 p.m. And then it's also Global Running Day, which we mentioned yesterday. So Rochelle and I will face off, learn a little bit about how the benefits of running, and we'll see who is the winner. And we're gonna
tune in for that.
And then no spoilers. And then of course we're gonna wrap it up this weekend. Well, tomorrow starts Gizzard Fest in Potterville.
Oh,
yeah. Why gizzards? We will find out. I mean, it's more than gizzards. It is a lot of fun, and there's a lot of activities for the whole family, including line dancing. So they might show us a few steps.
And that's happening this weekend.
It's happening starting tomorrow.
Oh.
The pageant kicks off. We're gonna get a gizzard queen. And then we're going to have a parade on Friday. Well, not we. You can go to Potterville for the parade on Friday, and then all of the fun games and activities for the weekend.
Awesome. That's so exciting.
I know. So all of this and more is going to be on Studio 10 today.
Awesome. Well, if people want to check out Studio 10, here's where you can all go. There's multiple different ways. You have their website, the Instagram, the email. So from top to bottom, that is how you can stay connected with Studio 10. And then also, if you go to their YouTube page, what really helps if you are unable to attend and join them at 3 o'clock, or hey, you simply just want to rewatch and share one of their incredible segments that they have throughout their show, you just have to go to their YouTube page. You're going to look up at WILX Studio 10. You're going to hit that white button that says subscribe, and then you are subscribed to their YouTube page. You can always go back, and again, if you miss anything or just want to rewatch, you can always stay tuned and see all of the content that they have. Right now, we're going to bring it over to Justin.
Yeah.
How How are you doing today on this Wednesday?
Good. This is Wednesday for me is my Friday of the work week. So for me, that's nice. You'll have meteorologist Colton Sikoracki, a very fine friend of mine and meteorologist here for the rest of the week, as he normally is. But we're talking all about the fact that late this weekend, we finally are bringing some chances for rain back in, and we've actually upped those a bit. It's looking like it's a better likelihood that we get some water, which, as we both know, is much needed right now. In the meantime, though, still dry out there, and there's been a haze settled in across a lot of the country from those Canadian wildfires that have continued to just billow out some smoky plumes. And certainly some of the images coming out of places like New York City, Detroit, a couple other places, a lot of almost smog. It just looks really, really low air quality in those places. And Metro Detroit specifically was hit by that earlier today.
And I know there's been some changing around in terms of where they were ranked, if you want to say it that way. But earlier today, Justin, they were ranked one of the worst with all of the haze and smoke.
And Detroit was #1 in the country and #2 in the world for worst air quality, which is not something you want to be in the top 2 of at any point ever. Fortunately, it's kind of gotten much better as the day's gone on, which is good. The smoke's kind of drifting out a little bit, but still a bit hazy in many places out there.
All right, let's take a look outside. Here we go, US 127.
Yeah, so we can see the blue sky in there, which is nice. It's starting to peek through, but you also notice in the very low levels, there is still just a little bit of a faint haze. It's nothing too big, but you'll notice it certainly out there, and you may even have a little bit of a smell, a scent of some smoke at times as we head into the evening. Now, temperatures have come up to 73. We might get another degree or two today, but it's a northwesterly flow. Dew points are still very dry in the 30s. That's something we're going to look at in just a moment. But again, talking about that wildfire smoke from those Canadian fires, you can see where these darker shades are. This is where the smoke is very thick, and so particularly you can see areas along the eastern coast and seaboard. They're dealing with the most smoke right now, but there is some still lingering into our area, and then that'll be something that continues. This hour-by-hour view takes us out into tomorrow morning. We might get another little dose of that. You can see just how intense it is and where it's coming from with those kind of neon colors up at the top of the screen. That's right where those fires are. And they're, again, going to be sent our way. And so over the next few days, this is something we may still have to watch, keep an eye on, just so that you're aware of the fact that there is a little bit of smoke out there. And this could reduce the air quality if we get enough to get down to our level here at the surface. Now, the dew points, they're very dry, and that's evidenced by this map here. You can see all these darker brown colors. Dew points are running in the 30s, and what this means is in order to get any water to condense, you would have to cool our air down from the 70s all the way to the low to mid 30s in order to form dew, if you will. And so really, really dry air that we've got. There's not a lot of water available, not a lot of moisture in our atmosphere. Temperatures are able to heat up and cool down easily with this, but the north wind is what's keeping us cooler. Otherwise, we'd be much warmer than 73 in Lansing, 72 in Jackson this afternoon. And you'll notice temperatures around most of the Great Lakes are among those cooler regions, and that's because, again, the smoke, not only the smoke kind of keeping a little bit of the warmth from getting in here, but the direction out of the northeast bringing in some cooler air. So you notice out in the plains, they've still got that nice stripe where they're seeing warmer temperatures. We'll kind of get into that by the very end of the week here, where you have numbers that are in the 80s out in places like Fargo, Kansas City, North Platte. That'll be us by the time we hit the early weekend. But late in the weekend, we've got some changes, much welcome, that are headed our way, because while satellite and radar, again, remains very calm and quiet right now across our region, you can see what we're working with. All the heat's on the other side of this little dip in the upper air pattern in the jet stream, and so the rain right now is just sliding down this little arc you see here and completely bypassing us to our south. And then the system well off to the east, that's retrograding, heading the opposite direction back towards places like Toronto. They may be able to catch a couple showers out of this in the coming days, but it's not going to come far enough over just quite to get to us here. And so we'll have that kind of right over in Ontario nearby across Lake Huron the next 2 days. And then these systems out towards the west will start to inch our direction as the pattern sort of starts to break down and evolve a little bit. And so we'll finally be able to get some showers. But the hour by hour right here, you can see, again, not really showing you much take place. Maybe a few low level clouds this afternoon. Still have some of the high smoke, but we're mainly clear heading into the overnight. Thursday afternoon, lots of sunshine. We bring in a few late day clouds, but we are still staying dry. And then heading further out into Friday as well, more of the same. You notice on the top right of your screen here, you see some of that rain starting to come through parts of Ontario, as I mentioned right there, as it rotates around, and then we'll get a few clouds on the back side of that, but that'll be late in the day Friday. Eventually, we'll finally bring a front through that'll bring us some of that much-needed rain that we've been touting, and so that chance of precipitation, we still got zeros today, tomorrow, and Friday. I threw a 10% in on Saturday, and the only reason I did that is because we've got a very small chance for maybe around sunset to catch a shower. I think more of the rain's going to come Saturday night. I've got 60% Sunday. That brings scattered rain back into the forecast, and that's going to be welcome to see in the 10-day here. That's where we'll get back into those low 70s. We'll stay there for a few days. But now, after Saturday night, we get into Sunday. We then get into Monday and Tuesday. I've got rain chances now on all 3 days. This is not going to be a washout rain. It is not going to rain all day on any of these days, or even for a very long time on any of these days. But it'll be one of those periods where you get rain for maybe an hour or so, and then it kind of drones off, and you end up just seeing a little bit of a dry stretch, and then back to a few spotty scattered showers here and there. So that's the pattern we'll be in, as a large low pressure system just looms right over the top of the Great Lakes. And again, that's a very welcome pattern change. Right now it does still look like there's not a lot of water there. I would estimate we probably get around or even less than an inch of rainfall through all of those days and all of those chances. And so it's not going to be anything that really kills off this drought we've been in, but it is a big help. And at this point, any rain we can get is welcome. And so that's what we're looking at. Temperatures are going to come back up into the 80s next week too, and so that's something else to note. So we'll get back to some summer-like warmth as we dive deeper into June. But we also do increase the rain chances. Even next Thursday may be a small chance for a passing shower or storm in there. And so it's nice to see these percentages come back, especially since we've had a lot of really nice days. It's been dry, it's been pleasant, right? But we've been talking so much about how we need the rain. This has been the driest stretch on record since April 5th in the Lansing and Jackson areas. We haven't had rain in, since May 19th. So it's been about 20 days, and it'll be about 23 days by the time we finally do have a chance to get rain this weekend. And so that's more than 3 weeks, almost 3.5 weeks without a single drop of rain in Lansing, which not very great, but hopefully we can work out some of that rain this weekend into early next week. I think folks would be okay with, even if it's just for a couple days, have a little bit of a more showery pattern.
Right, we made it.
Yeah, at this point, I made the joke, and I've been telling everybody around, I'm going to look, when we get this rain finally in here, I'm going to look like Andy Dufresne in Shawshank Redemption when he crawled out of the big sewer when he's escaping the prison. Sorry if I spoiled that. It's a great movie. Hopefully you've seen it. But where he goes out and he's just leaning back.
It's like, yes.
That's going to be me when we finally get rain back in here, probably this weekend. And so I'm really looking forward to that. It'll be great to see that coming down from the sky. Certainly folks in agriculture, even if you got your own farms, you want to worry about your own lawn and garden, everything like that, we really would love to have the rain. And so we're going to be grateful to have that back. Hopefully that's a pattern that will continue moving forward.
What do they call it? Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
It does, yes,
Yeah.
Exactly right. And the absence of rain has certainly made us want and need it more, and hopefully we're able to get some in
Well,
here.
you mentioned all the farmers, the people watering their gardens, their lawns, and then
Of
you have
course.
people like me who have allergies and asthma that are
Yes.
suffering a little bit.
Right.
So we could use that, and then Mother
Yeah.
Nature with all of the fire could also use that as well.
And that's the other key to this, is not only has it been dry around here, it's been dry north in the state. There's still places in northern and lower Michigan that have not had rain for even longer than we have. Places like near the Grayling area who had those recent fires, they actually got a couple very light showers earlier in the week. They were lucky enough, I think, Monday to get that as it kind of slid down the state, but that didn't make it to us because it dried up before it got here, and so we've been missing out. And that's, again, pattern that's continued. Hopefully we're able to kind of break that flow moving forward here.
Yeah, well, let's take one more last little look at the 10-day forecast. Like
Sure.
Justin was saying, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, you have those rain chances, and then
Yeah.
Thursday, small chance for a thunderstorm.
Couple
there as
storms,
well.
yeah.
Couple
And
storms.
yeah, and this, like I said, these are not going to be rain chances that last for the
Right.
entire day. These are not going to be all-day rains
Short little bursts.
Yeah, not ones that just like completely wash the day out, which at this point we wouldn't mind a day-long
Oh,
rain.
no.
That'd be really nice for the area as long as it's not just a monsoon-like torrential downpour. As long as we could just get some water in the ground, start to freshen it up.
Oh, yeah.
I think at this point the frequency is going to be a little more important than the total amount. So even if it amounts to an inch or less, if we get rainfall on each of those 3 days, that'll be very helpful for us, just as far as keeping the ground moist and keeping it fresh. That'll be really good. then we can talk about maybe adding a little bit more as far as the quantity goes. But right now, we just would like to have at least the frequency of having a few days with rain would be good for our area to at least have it in here.
Oh yeah,
So-
we won't get too greedy. We'll be grateful for what we get, but
Yeah.
we do need it. And if any of those rain chances change, Justin, there's a great tool that people can go to.
Of course, First Alert Weather app. It's in our App Store and on Google Play. It's absolutely free. We, of course, as you see here, have those daily video updates, which have got descriptions. They've got some captioning on them as well. We, again, update this frequently. We've got push alerts, hour-by-hour forecasts. We've got future and past radar, all sorts of things. Every great tool you could imagine that you need, including and up to real-time traffic updates. And once again, that's in your App Store. It's a great tool to have, and it is absolutely free. All you need to do in your search bars, throw in WILX Weather. And once again, best things in life, they are free, and that's exactly what you get with that in the palm of your hand. Certainly a good tool to keep in mind.
Oh yeah, and if people ever have questions, I just want to mention real quick, when you go and watch our News 10 Plus live streams, what you can do is actually comment live. So on this monitor right here in front of me, we can look through and see if anyone has left a comment, a question, and if you want to know any of the weather updates, Justin can help you answer that live right now for you.
Or even if you just like to say hello, or you have something you want to share, if you hear something that we say, feel free. Throw your comments and your thoughts in. We'd certainly love to hear from you and interact.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
We are moving on to see what's coming up during our later newscast today.
Yes.
So if we take a look, coming up today, Mid-Michigan Matters first at 4. It is Men's Health Month, the month of June. And so, kind of with Father's Day coming around next week, can you believe it?
Yeah, coming up fast.
Coming up very fast. That is happening June 18th, that's Sunday. But to take care of all of the men and boys in your life, June is Men's Health Month. And so we're bringing in a local urologist. I know this can be an interesting topic for some to listen to, but it really is important. So we're not just talking about why it's important to get health screenings, but some of the factors to look out for and some of the more prone illnesses that men can get. Then coming up, News 10 at 5, the Board of Water of Light for Lansing has the peregrine falcons being banded today. And so, yeah, that's over at BWL's Erickson plant. They were already banded. But yeah, it's very exciting stuff. Actually, if we take a look outside real quick to this, you can see that the peregrine falcons over... Oh, I hit the button again.
There you go.
Over at MSU, they've all left the nest.
Yeah, all gone.
Egbert.
Yeah, now that Egbert has, had a little tumble, but she steadied back out and got back on it. And, those kids, they learn so quick. You make one little quick mistake and, not to do it again. Well, you hope, at least, right? That's always the plan. But yeah, they're all now out and moved on, and they grow up quick. And they're continuing to move on, and we'll continue to follow along with our other falcon families and, hope the best for all of them as well.
I was going to say earlier, we were seeing Egbert just walk around the roof, like not even in the box
Yeah, sort
anymore.
of just hopping around or moving around, but she's now off.
She's
So,
off.
yeah.
Free. Now you have, again, we're pulling it up again, News 10 at 5. That's when you can tune into the BWL Peregrine Falcons. Coming up, News 10 at 5:30, Kellen Buddy introduces us to a Michigan State University medical student who was selected to work with the Detroit Lions this summer and all of their staff. So that is super exciting. I believe, again, she's from Nigeria.
Cool.
So representing her country, and that is so cool to be able to work alongside the Lions.
Awesome story.
In our home of Detroit, right? Not too far from here. Coming up, News 10 at 6, $16 million are being invested into a Charlotte facility that manufactures electric vehicle, commercial vehicles. And we'll have more on how many jobs this will create for our area. So I think there was a jobs report recently saying more employees were adding, or more employers were adding more employees. There you go.
Yeah.
So that's always good, creating more jobs in our area for many families and people. But yes, we will have that coming up during First at 4 and during our 90 minutes of news. But until then, we have quite a few reporters. I mean, they're always busy at work.
Of course, yeah.
We have a few who had a little bit extra time today to show us what they are working on. So you can tune in during our 90 minutes of news.
Thanks, Taylor. We are in the middle of a long stretch without rain, and that's not only affecting our farmers, but it's affecting our pockets eventually. I spoke with local farmers about the importance of irrigation systems. I'm Deanna Giles, and I'll have that story coming up on News 10 at 5. Justin, what do you have going on?
Thanks, Deanna. A new law passed today, and it means using one of these things in your hand while you drive completely illegal. I'll have more on that story for you coming up tonight. Now over to you, Aaron.
Thanks, Justin. I'm Erin Bowling, and I'm in Charlotte, where this domestic violence shelter, also known as Siren, is in danger of closing. They were doing an internal routine audit when they discovered someone was stealing from them. They now need $300,000 to stay open and keep providing their services, so they started a GoFundMe page. I'll have their fight to stay open on News 10 at 5:30. Riley, what are you working on today?
Thanks, Aaron. I'm Riley Connell, and if you've taken a look at your First Alert weather app today, you might have noticed that there's an air quality warning currently in effect. I'll tell you how people in the community are reacting to the news and what healthcare professionals have to say about how this might impact us, coming up at News 10 at 6. Amaya, tell us what you're working on.
Today we're talking to AmeriCorps and how the Michigan Community Service Commission is receiving $15.5 million in federal funding. I'll have more on that later tonight. Over to you.
All right, Deanna, Justin, Aaron, Amaya, and Riley. Whew, that's all of you. 5 of them. We were just talking about that is a lot.
I think that's the most we've ever had on this program, sharing what they've got coming up. It's so exciting. Hopefully you'll tune in. We've got lots of content coming up here at News 10. And I hope you'll join us for all of that.
And notice they were all outside, so not a bad day to head out there, besides all the hazy skies.
Sure, but it's still comfortable. It's still a nice afternoon, so hopefully you're able to enjoy.
All right, have a happy Wednesday. Until then, we'll see you guys soon.